So today I have a call from a woman in Singapore, and she has questions about her self-publishing business. I think it involves royalties and withholding, and I've been getting a lot of calls about this. So if you are doing publishing, you're getting any kind of royalties for Amazon, this is another video for you to make sure that you check out. And she actually asked a lot of other questions towards the end of the video, so it's a pretty comprehensive video, pretty to the point. So oh, before we get to it, please like and subscribe. It really helps. As if you don't want to subscribe, just give me a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. Okay, so let's get to the call. Thanks.
Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned up. Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned up.
I can hear you fine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for accepting this Zoom call. I really watch a lot of your YouTube videos, and I learned a lot about the LLC.
Thanks. I'm happy to help. You're from Singapore, correct?
Yes.
I have a couple other clients who are from Singapore. Never been there myself, but I heard it's an amazing place. So the way we usually do these calls is you can tell me a little bit about your business and what's going on, and let me know what questions you have, and we can just talk through it.
Okay. Because I'm planning to start a self-publishing business on Amazon Kingdom Publishing. So I was planning to start a US LLC because Amazon KDP, they pay you basically in royalties, and there's a 30% withholding rate.
Yes.
So I was hoping that by setting up a US LLC, you would be considered a US person so that you can be able to avoid the withholding rate of 30%.
Great question. I literally had a call about this last night, and this is an issue I've been getting more and more, and it's something I might get myself in trouble with giving you guys advice on. Okay, so when royalties are paid to non-residents, the withholding is required, 30% withholding, and an LLC for tax purposes doesn't exist. So technically, if you have an LLC, it's like Amazon's really still paying you, a foreign person, because the LLC isn't paying taxes. The idea is that the royalty income is U.S. source income, and that is subject to U.S. taxation, which is why they withhold the 30%. So that's the issue. An LLC won't help you unless you tell the Amazon that it's a U.S. person, but it won't be. So it's not really the correct way to do it. If you just tell Amazon that you're that your LLC is taxed as a corporation or something, then maybe they'll accept it. But on its own, it won't work like that. I do have a solution though. What I've advised some clients is to, instead of an LLC, open a U.S. corporation. And that's because a U.S. corporation pays taxes in the United States. So with your corporation, you can receive the royalties without the withholdings. The problem with this is a corporation has to file its own tax returns, and it has to be run as an individual, as a separate entity. So a corporation is a U.S. taxpayer, and it files U.S. tax returns, and you can't just send money to yourself as dividends, because there's withholding on dividends you pay yourself. What you would have to do, and what I've advised some clients to do, especially if the scale is really small, if you're just starting, it could work if you do it the right way, is either have a corporation and an LLC, or a corporation and some personal accounts, and basically receive the royalties with your corporation, and then after the royalties come in, send the money to yourself as like an expense. And it's like the only way to receive money to your corporate, receive the royalties without having withholding on them, and then not paying all the taxes on it in the U.S. anyways. It's not a perfect solution, but it is the best way to get all of your royalties without taxes withheld.
But wouldn't the corporation be subject to corporate tax?
Yes, and that's why I'm saying the corporation would then pay you for technical services or management services or licensing fees or something, not royalties. because even the U.S. corporation can't pay you royalties, so the corporation can get royalty income, and then it can pay you for professional services.
But it will
So
be paid to the LLC.
yeah, it would just be paid to something else. So to either to your personal bank account or to an LLC account if you want to use another company, an LLC. And that's because so the corporation will have $100,000 of royalty income, and then it pays out $95,000 of professional fees to you for services performed in Singapore, and therefore the corporation has minimal income and pays minimal taxes on that income instead of 30% of the gross.
If I wanted to set up the corporation, would like a C Corp or a S Corp be better in this case?
It's all a non-resident can't open an S corporation.
Oh, only a C Corp. Okay. So I just wanted to confirm, because for like in Singapore, like we are only taxed based on the income that we earn in Singapore. So does this mean that like whatever I earn from the LLC will not be subject to like any Singapore tax?
I can't comment on taxes in Singapore. Generally, the countries want you to pay taxes because you're living and working in Singapore. They're going to want, Singapore probably wants you to pay taxes on the income you earn in an LLC. Probably. I'm not a Singapore tax expert, but that's how it is in most countries. That said, a lot of my clients, a lot of people that watch my content on YouTube just receive money in their LLC and don't pay any taxes on it and just leave it there or spend it from there. And I have other clients who have, like I said, I don't know how my other clients from Singapore do it, but in Singapore. But you know, if you use your U.S. Bank account, debit card to spend your money, Singapore wouldn't really know, and then you know, I don't know how the information is exchanged.
Because previously I was planning to set up an LLC, and I was wondering if I outsource some of like the book writing to ghostwriting companies, would it be considered a dependent agent?
For purposes of withholding taxes on payments to them?
I was wondering if it has any sort of like tax implication if you hire like a ghostwriting company.
No. If you have an employee in the United States, that means you'd be doing business in the United States. But if you, a ghostwriting company is going to do their own thing, that wouldn't be an employee. It would be like any other expense.
But if like I'm setting up a corporation and I work with like other like ghostwriting companies or like freelancers, it can be written off as a business expense, right? To lower the tax.
Of course. Yes.
And since it's like now a corporation instead of an LLC, is there like, do you have to set up in specific like states? Like, because previously for LLC, they always compare between Wyoming and New Mexico because of like the tax benefits. But if it's a corporation, is there any like specific state that would be better in incorporating in?
Yes, definitely. So the LLCs, I know there's a lot of hype on the internet. Any state, really any state would work for you as a non-resident. You can open an LLC in Mississippi, and it would have this. It would be the same as opening an LLC in Georgia or New Mexico. It's the same thing. The only difference is Wyoming and Delaware have a little bit more privacy. Delaware having the best, in my opinion, has the best privacy, and it's the most flexible. So we like Delaware the most. But yeah, Delaware Corporation is probably the same thing. It's probably the best because you wouldn't have to pay any corporate taxes in Delaware, and corporations is where it really matters. So when New Mexico says, like New Mexico has corporate tax, I believe, for corporations, and corporations are U.S. taxpayers, so they would have to file tax returns and pay taxes in whatever state they're created in. So for an LLC, it doesn't matter that much where you open the LLC, but for a corporation, it does actually matter a little bit. And you know, Delaware is good, Wyoming's good, neither have corporate taxes.
So if I set up the corporation in like Wyoming or Delaware, it doesn't have to be subject to corporate tax?
Correct. I mean, if you don't have anything in the state, yeah.
If I just have like just a US mailing address?
Yeah, I mean, that's not, it's just a mailing address. You just can't have an office and employees.
Then do I need to get like two different like taxpayer identification number for both the corporation as well as the LLC?
Yes, you need the taxpayer identification number for basically anything. For Amazon, for opening bank accounts, you need it for everything.
So I have to get like two different one for the corporation and one for the LLC.
Yes.
Okay. For the LLC, I just have to file like the form 5472, right?
Yes, there is a specific manner in which that needs to be done, but yes, that's correct.
And is there any sort of like forms I have to go through for the corporation?
Certainly, the corporation would have to file Form 1120 and very possibly also Form 5472, because it's actually a corporate form. So you have to file the Form 1120, and then if there's any reportable transactions, also Form 5472 attached to the Form 1120. In a very similar manner that you do the other, the LLC tax return, except the corporate tax return, you have to provide even more information.
Like, do I have to do any sort of like accounting and bookkeeping for like the US LLC?
Yes, I would say do basic bookkeeping, basic accounting. It's technically required to keep books and records up to date. And I tell everyone that if you're running a simple business, you can probably just do it all in like a month anyways. So if you're running a simple business with very few transactions, it's not complicated, you can just do it all at the end of the year. It's probably fine.
Do you guys also do like accounting for like corporations?
Yeah, depending on the volume, again, a lot of the times we'll do it at the end of the year before we do the tax filings.
Like, how much do you guys charge for like to file like for US corporation and LLC?
So the tax filings for most entities start at the 5472 filing we're doing for $1,250, and then for the corporate tax returns starting at the same. I mean, if it's a blank form, we can do it for less. But if it's has information, yours will probably have a form 5472. It'll be around 1,500 and up.
Okay, let's just say that like I incorporate my LLC in Delaware. Does my mailing address also has to be in Delaware?
No, you need to be careful though. If like I wouldn't use New York, California mailing addresses because they're very aggressive. But it doesn't have to be in Delaware. If you have like family, it would be, you could use their address. It'd probably be okay.
Because like I watch like YouTube videos about how you can like purchase real estate through a corporation, and they say that by doing this you can like increase the amount of debt you have so that you can pay lesser taxes. So do you think that's like,
Are you talking about real estate investing?
yes, through the corporation?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It depends. It all depends on what you're buying, how much you're spending, who's the owner, what your long-term plans are. All of that impacts what I would advise you to do. The level of debt to deposit that you're putting down. So all that affects how I would advise you there. Is this something you're planning on doing?
Yes, I'm planning on doing this in the future because I thought I could set up like a umbrella LLC, but I didn't think about setting up a corporation because of like the corporate tax.
Corporations are better if you're buying larger properties and you're planning on holding them because of estate tax implications. But it all depends. Let's have another call when you're looking at properties.
Yeah.
You have more questions?
No, that's all. Is it okay if you send me more details about like your rates about the incorporation for
Yeah,
like filing for it?
yeah, sure. We have the flat package that we do that includes really everything, and we get ITINs right now. We're including the ITIN in our we basically including everything from our premium package and our mid-level package. So it's literally you just talk to me and I do everything for you, and that's $2,500 for opening the company. And if you want two companies, I have done it for um, discount like 2,000 each, and then I still run through the whole thing and advise you on it, how to operate it, and I'm adding more and more resources to those packages every day.
But
But
this is just for like incorporating it, right?
no, it's not. That's why it's not for just incorporating it. Obviously, you've done your research. It's not that expensive to incorporate the company. It's for like I'll give you my WhatsApp phone number and we can work through whatever questions you have. And we do set up the company, but you use our address. We get all the tax IDs. Right now, the IRS isn't processing EIN numbers, but we can still get them for you. Things like that. There's a lot more to it. It's really just having a full service um, person doing all of this for you. And I can send you an email with all the details, like line by line, everything that's included. But the real value is just working with me to get everything done. Whatever you need, if there's a problem, if there's an issue, we fix it and we figure it out.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for the call.
Yes, thank you. Again, just to confirm, it's fine. I put this call on the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Well, Jing, thank you for your time and best of luck in your publishing business. I hope you do really great. And let me know if you want more details. Just email me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that call was really great. I think we were able to help Jane get through all of her questions, and so she understands what's going on. And just to recap, if you are getting royalties from Amazon, it's a little tricky situation to stop the withholding, but it can be done. And if you have more questions about that or you want to speak to me, you can click the link in the description below and schedule a call with me yourself, and we can go through your questions. I really look forward to it. So if you thought this video was valuable and you want to see more, please give me the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.